The cool part about learning and traveling and meeting new people is that every single thing that we look at, listen to, and feel is augmented by that experience. My name is Tarab. I make videos about emotional intelligence every day. My mission is to convince you to become the truest version of yourself by exploration and by setting visions that you believe are going to be actually useful in your life. So, how do I spend the time? How do I know when an opportunity is worth my while? When I know it's going to augment the way that I look at life. And I value that so deeply because I have had opportunities to explore where perhaps other people haven't. And I haven't had that many opportunities, I'm not going to lie. I haven't traveled every single country in the world or whatever, but I've had the luxury of actually going to some different places and learning some different things and reading some different things. And it's made a drastic impact on really how I associate with average people and how I look at the world around me. And I say this in, honestly, a really loving way. I want to make sure that if you have the resources, if you have the energy to go and make the very most out of those resources and energy, right? Really, really try to imagine a life where that one experience, that one thing that you went through, that one thing that you learned or listened to or felt, that it will drastically change your life. And believe that, with every fiber of your being. In some senses, what I'm talking about is spirituality. In some senses, what I'm talking about is a deeply metaphysical thing. It's kind of the crossroads between business and philosophy, which is, in my opinion, emotional intelligence. And as much as I want to believe that emotional intelligence is merely a thing that human beings reside in, I have to believe that emotional intelligence and spirituality are actually things that every organism on the planet experiences to some degree. And its awareness of its surroundings and its awareness of how deeply embedded it is in its surroundings genuinely affect its ability to make a difference in the world around it. Genuinely affect its ability, both physically and in a metaphysical sense, to change the world around it. And so my goal these days is to spend somewhere between $10,000 to $50,000 a year in giving myself new experiences. The reason being, because in a very selfish way, I want to make sure that I'm growing as a human being. And in a selfless way, I want to be more useful to y'all and the other people that I have taken up the responsibility of trying to help in my life. So, traveling is a really good way to do this. And if you don't have very much money, the real way to go about traveling, in my opinion, is road trips and spending a little bit of time, a little bit of energy to get in the car or to go on a walk or to explore new things in your neighborhood. There's a book, and I don't want to spoil it for you, so I'll just give you one of the many things that it taught me. The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho is a really, really simple way to view a journey, an individual journey in life. And one of the main lessons in it was that oftentimes what we are looking for, what we are seeking, is right in front of us. It's just a matter of having the perspective to be able to see it. And so the journey is required to see that thing for what it is. It's almost like having a different lens on life. When we have those new experiences, when we force ourselves to go through change, We have the ability to take off a lens, to put a different lens on, to look through a different window. And it makes all the difference. In my life, when I've been deeply depressed, or when I've gone through perhaps an ordeal or something that I didn't expect, you know, and I kept thinking about myself and, oh, poor Tarab, and how angry I was, and all of the immediate steps that we go through when we go through some bullshit. The things that took me out the most, the things that helped me out of that the most, were a change in perspective. And how I got that was often a walk in the woods, perhaps a phone call with someone that's disconnected to the event, perhaps reading, perhaps watching a documentary, something that gave me the ability to pivot, to manipulate that circumstance and see it in a different light. And that's a big part of self-soothing. It's a big, big part of self-soothing. Self-soothing is one of the main things that allow us to persist when times are changing, when times are really rough. So if you have the option of going on an escapade, measure it in your head. If you're there grinding and you're watching these videos and you're like, okay, I need to grind, I need to sit down and move. I need to sit down and move forward, move closer to my vision, meaning pounding phone calls, pounding emails, writing procedures, having meetings, whatever it is. Weigh the benefits of a change in perspective. I would say ideally, it'd be about once every month and a half that I personally would go through a change, some different sort of experience, something that I haven't done before. I think that would be ideal for me. But I'm still working on it, you know? It's gonna take a lot of time to figure this stuff out. But really, it's gonna take a lot of work to figure this stuff out, because I gotta put all the bricks in place. So if you have that vacation coming up, or if you haven't been on vacation in a while, or if you've been thinking about picking up that new book, or there's someone that you have a chance of falling in love with, or just any of those different things that are gonna pop up in life, and it feels right, your intuition is telling you, even the worst case scenario, that you'll be okay, go for it. I'm giving you the permission. Go for it. Spend your time, your resources, and just go for it. The worst case scenario is that you'll fail in some capacity, and that, I don't know, you'll feel shitty about yourself. That's literally the worst case scenario. The best case scenario is you'll feel really good about yourself, and you'll have a drastically different approach to life. To me, it's worth the risk. Why not experiment? You only live once. Do it for fun. And don't use you only live once just as a way to use a bunch of drugs and have an absurd time in life. That, not gonna warrant too much. Use it as an every day is a lifetime type of thing. And then it warrants a lot. The other thing I wanted to say, when assessing an opportunity, or when assessing whether or not you want to buy something, a wise man once told me that he looks at every possible negative thing about that circumstance that they can think of. It's like the worst case planning kind of perspective. He thinks about, if I can nail down the thing that I absolutely hate about this product, absolutely hate about this person, absolutely hate about this event, about this location, and I can come to terms with it, there's a really good chance that it'll be just fine. Actualize your potential catalyst. This world needs you. If you made it to this point of the video, you know what to do. Support the man, spread it, give it to someone that needs it, and I'll see you on the flip. Peace.